Hello. Welcome. There's nobody here, but let's do this. I got two people with me. We're going to talk about some nerdy shit. I think we're going to call the show Talk Nerdy to Me or something like that. It's working. It's a working title. How you guys doing? I got Outpost Nerd with me. He's got his own channel. I got Mike with me. He's Space Power Monkey. He's got his own channel.
I think Talk Nerdy to Me is already taken.
Oh, is it?
Almost certainly.
Yeah, I think I
You
saw
would
it on
think.
Rumble recently.
Oh, dang. Those guys are quick.
What's up, Rex?
Yeah, there's so many more. Let me get this link out to Frogman. There's so many more streams popping up, just little ones. I love it. There's so many more creators to interact with nowadays.
Well, I've heard talk. There might be a creator bubble bursting soon. Just so many people are online now trying to create channels.
What do you mean by like a bubble bursting? Like just an explosion of creators on here soon?
Well, it's like when what's the word I'm looking for? When the industry gets so saturated, it becomes automatically something becomes so big it becomes worthless. Like the housing bubble crisis years ago,
Yeah.
kind of like that thing, but creators. I guess I haven't heard kind of talk about it. Like you'll be hard pressed to find a person not online, not doing a channel in some form or another. Yeah, like a market crash, but on YouTube. Shane, yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Like I've always said, the years of making like $1 million off of YouTube, they're gone. You know, being next like PewDiePie or Ninja or all those kind of creators who make.
Yeah, but is the reason that making $1 million is gone is that 20 people are going to make 50,000?
Well, it's like, and I think I go to Rikita because we all know Nick. He's the most well known for us, but he's very much I guess you could say an anomaly. I mean, he's a relatively young channel, only 5 years old. I think just a few days ago he celebrated 5 years of streaming.
Oh wow.
Surprised he didn't make a big deal about it, but he just found a market at the perfect time, a niche in YouTube that wasn't really taken, and was able to explode into it and turn it into this, for lack of a better word, media company. And I mean, just what was it in? I think June, July, or August, he made $700,000 off of YouTube.
Well, Nick's a uniquely kind of open personality without having to be too sharing, and that's really helps him out.
Right, but I don't see that destroying the community, right? Nick, Viva, and Barnes, a couple of the others being very successful has meant that there's a wide array of other lawyers who got into this. And sure, they're not as successful, but they're still doing it and pretty successful. And then there's a tier down, and even a tier down from that, right? Like some could argue the reason that we're all here is that, these people started paving the way for it.
Yes, and I don't think we're to that bubble bursting yet. I still think we have maybe a few more years before it actually happens. And we'll see creators on every level growing and growing and growing, and then all of a sudden, boom. It's like the ground will just fall out from under, because we're seeing this with, especially the past few months, where a lot of relatively big ones, and like I'm gonna go back to Nick, Vivo, like all the ones you just listed, they're kind of slowly weaning themselves off of YouTube,
as they should be.
And we really saw a really shift in how YouTube operates and how it treats certain creators, especially with the Adpocalypse a couple years ago. I don't know if y'all remember
Oh
that,
yeah,
where they
sure, absolutely.
completely revamped how they do advertisements on the channels because of this stupid fight between Vox and Steven Crowder. That was
You
really
kind of see the inverse now. Not so much with the advertisements and the infighting, but with or not infighting in Vox's case with Steven Crowder. I don't think they even liked each other ever. But with Twitter now, how they're kind of equalizing everything and making the rules apply to everyone.
oh yeah, exactly. I mean, oh my
Well,
god, I
that's what makes
laughed.
me think even if there's a crash, this is going to be really sticky, right? Because part of what you're talking about, the fights with YouTube, are because the power establishment is now recognizing that information sharing on the internet is a major new persistent part of society.
Oh, definitely. I mean, God, I'm so old. I was in. If we had the recording technology that we have now when I was in high school, holy shit, would I be in trouble? I graduated the year before iPhones came out.
Oh,
We
I mean,
didn't.
we made explosives in high school. Like, there was all kinds of shit I'm really glad never was
Oh,
recorded.
Do
story.
you
I
know
had
what
a
they're
friend.
teaching kids in China now?
Oh, let me share this. Funny you mentioned
Yo,
explosives in high school.
they
I had a
show
friend.
these kids how to shoot off mortars over there. That's
Yeah,
what they're teaching their kids
I had a friend who, for
in
some
school.
reason, he got big into MREs. Meals ready to eat.
Ah, I
Mhm.
love them.
And I've actually never tried them. I've heard different things, but
They
one
can be
day,
good. Some are bad.
one day after lunch, he takes the heating unit from one and puts it in a bottle, for some reason, and leaves it on the ground. And our school's janitor, he'd ride around on a golf cart with a trash can on it, picking up trash. And then the janitor picks it up, throws it in the back, and right after he threw it in the trash can, it explodes.
Jeez, let's not talk about how to make a homemade pressure
Yeah,
bomb.
that's my bad. But I watched. There was a show. Gabriel Iglesias did a show called Fluffy Breaks Even.
Oh
Great
yeah,
show. I loved it. He would, as he was touring, him and his comic buddies would they tweet ahead to the town they were going to. Hey, where's a good place to eat? They'd go take people's suggestions, go review the foods, and then they would like, okay, where's a good gym in town so we can work off the calories? And then they go break even. There was one episode where they went to an army base with Sergeant Slaughter from the WWE back in the day. He's still around, which surprised the hell out of me. And they had tried all these army MREs, and they were really good. He was pleasantly surprised.
did they have them try the Spanish rice one? That would have probably been like the best one for somebody to try who's never tried one.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched any of those episodes. It's a good show. I recommend it. But
Yeah, I might have to check that out sometime.
I remember one of my favorite movies of all time is Tremors 2. Have you all ever seen it?
Yeah, absolutely. Back to Perfection.
No, that's 3.
Oh, is it? No. What is two then?
Aftershocks.
Aftershocks. Yeah.
When they go
So
down to
that's
Mexico and Shriekers are introduced.
yeah, and then Bert,
Back to
you get the
Perfection
line
is the
from
Ass
Bert.
Blasters are
Better to
introduced.
have it and not need it than need it and not
Oh
have it.
God, Bert is like my
The best
spirit animal.
character in that freaking movie. Oh my
Bert is the
gosh.
man I want to be one day. And I
I
love
like
it where,
I like Hiram Gummer as well from
yeah,
the one
the
where it's
beginning it was
like back
called.
in time.
It was like the fourth one. They've done like 8 movies now.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've seen the one like where it's in the Antarctic.
That one's I can't remember the name of that one, but there was a Bloodlines when
Yeah,
they're in
that was the one.
Africa. No, Blood in Africa.
Oh,
The
okay. I guess I've seen that one too then.
the sixth one I think is in Antarctica. The Bloodlines and the one after had Jamie Kennedy in it.
Okay. You just can't beat the first one.
Oh,
And
the
then
first and second. The first one was just. It tried to be scary, but it just came off as funny. And then
yeah,
I think they saw that with the second and third and fourth one, and just played it up. There was even a Tremors TV series.
really.
It only lasted one season. I watched it on Sci-Fi.
Was that really dumb one? It took place like in the middle of a city.
No, I don't remember one being in the middle of the city.
Hmm.
This one was set in Perfection Valley. Uh, it's very episodic. It has like the monster of the week, because the government did genetic experiments in the desert, and it gets out of control. So Bert was right, but
What? They changed it, huh? Because they're
yeah.
supposed to be Precambrian animals.
Well, no, the graboids were still around. They didn't change, but they'd have different monsters introduced due to like genetic research and that had been done decades before. It just
Oh, okay. I
like
got
there
you.
was
So there's
one.
different monsters out there now.
Well, the thing was there was this chemical they called Mixmaster, and it had been leaking into the environment for decades and was creating monsters. And, like there's one where it gets into this like um, pollen, these pollen like and creates this green mist that like if it touched you, it would just suck all the moisture out of your body and kill you.
God dang.
Christopher
Oh shit.
Lloyd
Hey,
had a
chat.
guest part in it. Back to the Future. Doc from Back to the Future was Christopher Lloyd played it part in it, but they did have the Shriekers, and I think they had Ass Blasters appear in a couple episodes, but it like was normal in the early 2000s. The networks didn't get it, so they fucked it over.
Oh damn it. Yep.
They it felt like, did y'all ever watch Firefly?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that happened with Firefly.
Oof.
Fox didn't understand it, so they really they cut the money. They showed the episodes out of order and
Oh,
really just fucked it up. And it was
the
a great.
Firefly one still hurts. That had so much
Yes.
potential.
Well, Josh Whedon was coming off of Buffy and then Angel, and Fox, because he made Fox in the 90s.
Dobry Shino, Dobry Den, Kaktiola.
And I love the mixture of old west and uh, sci-fi. I loved it, and to me, Firefly still has the best opening theme song ever. You know, that is one of the greatest. Like that, just
Oh
it
man.
sounds. It's got that like almost sitar kind of music, sitar country kind of music.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know. I've watched too much anime to say that that's my favorite intro to any show ever.
No, I love it. I love it. I love the one-liners.
I miss the mix of action and like intrigue, right? Because every episode had some kind of action arc to it, but the overall arc was political.
Yes,
Mm.
I mean it was so. It was such an interesting setting that Josh created. A society that was okay. He looked at how society would change. He looked at it and said, okay, what countries would most likely survive the end of the world? He took the United States and China and created a society. That's why the characters would start cussing in Mandarin Chinese. It's because it was a mixture of Old West America and Chinese culture.
Whoa, that's some Man in the High Tower shit.
And that's how it was such a good plot device, too, because they could cuss and say the most horrible things in Chinese and get it past the censors. We look some of those up.
Oh, we lost our one viewer. Take care.
No, that's not.
Man, you know what mashes up Old West and sci-fi really well?
What's that?
New Vegas.
Oh God.
I can't help myself.
It's like there's one line. Nathan Fillion, as Mal says, God, I'm gonna butcher the Chinese part. He says "Ta Ma Du" means "fuck me blind," and
Oh, sick.
so
Frogman's still watching. It just doesn't say he's watching.
yeah, and I mean the whole cast loved that show, and you really saw it in their performances. And I was sad to hear when Ron Glass, who played Book, passed away a couple of years ago. But I mean, it was a great show that really got screwed over. And one of my favorite lines is when Mal's dressed as the woman on the front of the stagecoach, and they're springing a trap on the bandits. And the guy goes to reach for his gun, and just Mal draws on and says, "I swear by my pink floor bonnet, I will end you." But it was great writing, great setting. I mean, but that was before. That was right before sci-fi started becoming mainstream. Because mid 2000s, it's when kind of nerd culture started really taking hold, and
Oh yeah, Riddick.
Riddick was a good one. I love it. He's like, "I will kill you with this teacup,"
And he does.
and he does it.
Excellent. I freaking love that whole prison. That whole prison is just an amazing set piece.
Yeah, I like that one better. I like the second one better than Pitch Black. You know, the Chronicles of the Riddick.
Pitch Black was really good too. I like the part where looks clear.
But I thought that was Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel's a huge nerd too. I mean, he plays Dungeons and Dragons. He played Dungeons and Dragons in the '80s in New York. That's how.
Believe it.
Yeah, he was a bouncer at like
Beautiful.
clubs,
Beautiful.
and him and his buddies would, after their shifts, would go home and play Dungeons and Dragons.
That's actually surprisingly common. I know a lot of people in the games industry who are former bouncers.
Well, what's his name? John. I can never pronounce his. He's married to Sofia Vergara. I cannot pronounce his last name.
McNamara.
John Ming.
John M.
Yeah, he was Flash in the first Spider-Man movie. He was the bully.
Oh yeah, Flash Thompson.
Yeah, that was him, and he plays Dungeons and Dragons. He's got this huge, and he's married to Sofia Vergara. Holy shit! Come on, lucky bastard.
Who did? Damn it! Who played Spider-Man in the Sam Raimi ones? I can't.
Tobey
remember.
Maguire.
Tobey Maguire. Who did Tobey Maguire marry?
Huh?
Who did Tobey Maguire marry?
I don't know.
I'm curious. Like if he got with her, who did Tobey Maguire get with? He's Spider-Man. Come on. Let's
Jennifer Mayer. I don't know who she is. She's a jewelry designer. She's not an actress. She's pretty. Yeah, she's pretty-ish.
Pretty-ish.
Yeah. I mean, she's not like knockout gorgeous.
She is on the red carpet. Sometimes.
I mean,
she got the Pfizer eye.
That's fucked up.
I loved. I love seeing Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man in No Way Home. I loved it.
Oh, that was beautiful.
See, I'm not an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies fan.
They made him really work with that though, because they made him the dark universe Spider-Man, where he just stopped pulling his punches, which is just super duper cool. And
God, one of my favorite moments I've ever read in comics is when Spider-Man just does just that, stops pulling his punches. Again,
Yeah.
I can't remember I need to find the comic's name, but Kingpin's in jail, and he puts out a hit, and it leaks out that who Spider-Man is. So he puts a hit on Peter Parker, but the hit goes wrong, and the hitman takes out Aunt May. Aunt May's in the hospital dying, and Spider-Man goes to prison and confronts Fisk, and they're on the floor of the prison, and just you see all the levels, all the criminals in the prison watching this, and Spider-Man just lets loose. You know, we've seen before moments where Kingpin almost beats him, but that's because Spider-Man was holding back, and he beats Kingpin to a pulp.
Yeah, we always knew that Kingpin was weaker than Spider-Man.
Yeah, but Spider-Man always
one of
held
Spider-Man's main traits is super strength.
Yeah, he's one of the strongest.
Don't use that on people
in the Marvel universe. And there's a panel where Kingpin's on his knees, just bloodied. It's Spider-Man. He says, "Before you could react, I could shoot my webbing down your throat, and it would harden like a cement block, and you would suffocate to death." He says, and he tells him, he's like, "I'm not gonna beat you. He says, I'm not gonna kill you because I've beaten you." Because Kingpin reputation was everything. He had to rely on a portrayal of strength to control his criminal empire. He says, "Everyone knows now that you're weak, that you're only human." And he goes off and he says, and he stops before he leaves. He says something along the line. He's like, "You better hope and you better pray to whatever God that my aunt survives, because if she doesn't, I will come back and I will kill you."
Nah, you didn't need that last part.
Oh no, it was.
Should have just said, "I'll be back here."
You don't even need to explain that part. Just be like, "You better hope my aunt survives." Just leave on that note.
That's facts. Too much explaining makes you less of a threat. I don't know. It just seems more.
It's called the comic is called Spider-Man Back in Black.
Okay.
Oh,
and you really got to check out the Spider-Man comic, Spider-Man Kills the Marvel Universe, where
heard about that.
He just keeps the black suit and starts killing the Fantastic Four first. And then he just it gets pretty gnarly, man. He goes up against Deadpool.
Oh god, that would be interesting.
Have you seen the Batman Who Laughs?
Oh god,
Jesus, that was creepy as fuck.
I like the Thomas Wayne version of Batman. You know,
that guy's a douchebag.
I love it.
Mean.
It's instead of him and Martha dying, it's Bruce that dies.
Bruce, yeah.
He goes fucking batshit, and she becomes the female Joker. Oh, it's so good. He's not afraid to use guns. And the writer of the guy who wrote Back in Black is J. Michael Straczynski, who wrote Babylon 5.
Oh, really?
Wrote and created. It's one of the best, most underrated TV sci-fi.
Babylon 5 is amazing. It is the best series I've ever seen in terms of mixing episodic stories, right? So the Star Trek formula together with overarching plot on the series and over the whole series scale.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's high praise. I've never caught that show.
It's worth it.
He was asked how he got the best way to describe Babylon 5, and he said this. He said it's like Casablanca in space. That was the idea. He said he was in the shower one night and the words Casablanca in space came to him, and he started writing it.
Does that mean there's space Yahtzees? That's right, we're on YouTube.
Oh yes, the Shadows. They were space Nazis. Yes, I would say so.
Several different parties of space Nazis, depending on your perspective.
Yeah, the Centauri. I could see it.
Well, also things like the Night Watch on Earth.
Oh God, that whole Earth Civil War arc was just amazing.
Jesus,
The
guys,
only thing,
spoilers, gosh.
I can see the outcome.
Sorry, we're spoiling a 30-year-old series, so you're gonna have to like.
Well, this along with the video game Tardigrades, they were ideas stolen by Paramount to create Star Trek series. Because J. Michael Straczynski even said he went to Paramount trying to when he went around Hollywood trying to sell the idea for Babylon 5. He went to Paramount, and then less than a year later, they announced Babylon 5. I mean, Deep Space Nine, and you could see extreme parallels between the two series.
Yeah, but like it's clear which one's better.
And I would say Babylon 5 is better.
I like Head and Shoulders.
I mean, one, it was using CGI when Star Trek was still using fucking models.
So it sticks with me from Babylon 5. Like I remember all the CGI and there's a lot of cool aliens and like space battles and all that. It's just the politics of it, right?
Yes.
Everyone seemed like a real character. They had their own motivations. They weren't one-dimensional. The results of the show came about because of the interactions of the people involved. It didn't just happen. Yeah, it was great.
I mean, very much. They weren't one-sided like fuck. Like, and they had things would happen in one episode that would affect things in episode 4, 5, or 6 down the line.
That's what I was saying. Like the side parts of any given episode are the main plot of the series.
And it really showed, a world where humans, yes, it was 500-600 years later, or how many, 200 or 300, I don't remember when the
whatever, sometime later, doesn't matter.
we were still a flawed. It wasn't we were still a flawed society. We weren't this kumbaya, my lord, hold hands. That Star Trek wanted to portray humanity to be. That's one thing I never liked about Star Trek is that humanity always seemed to ride the coattails of other races. In Babylon 5, it didn't take this miracle coming from the sky from the stars to get us to space like it did in Star Trek. Now I like Star Trek. Some great series came out of Star Trek. Not in the past maybe 10, 15 years though. I think the last good series of Star Trek was Enterprise, and a lot of people hate that one.
I mean, the only two I've watched entirely are the original series and the Next Generation.
I like the
actually maybe DS9 too, but I don't remember it. TNG is great. That 90s era, whatever was happening there.
That late 80s into the 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Whichever one has Jean-Luc Picard is my favorite.
That's Next Generation, yeah. But
I only like that guy because he was in that Safe House movie or whatever it's called.
I appreciate that he is a Shakespearean actor, but still is willing to play a role on American Dad.
Oh, hell yeah. Patrick Stewart is an amazing... One of my favorite stories I've ever heard him talk about was he started losing his hair in his early 20s. So what he did, he was very self-conscious about it. He'd go to auditions and have a wig. And he's walking through Piccadilly Circle one day, the big... or one of these... He's walking through London one day. It's raining. He's got his coat pulled up. And a guy with an umbrella and a hat walks by him, and they pass each other. And the guy turns around and says, "Oh, Mr. Stewart." And he turns around and says, he takes off his hat. The guy is just completely bald. He says, "On behalf of bald men everywhere, I thank you." He just sat back on and walks off. But what Patrick Stewart, he hasn't been pigeonholed by like a lot of the original cast members were by playing in Star Trek.
Man,
Because
him and Christopher Lee would just be treats to meet.
I would have loved to meet Christopher Lee. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Christopher Lee is literally what I think of when I think of like someone who's a real man.
Dude, he's done everything.
Yeah, he's literally done James Bond shit and then was like, yeah, whatever, I'll be an actor.
Actually, yeah.
We were talking about this earlier.
Oh, you know what? You can throw Michael Caine on there too. Sir Michael Caine.
I'm sharing something.
Oh, there's boobies in that.
No, there's not.
That looks like boobies to me.
That's Spider-Man and Kingpin. That's what we were talking about earlier.
All right, well, Spider-Man's got an awful big chest. That's all I'm saying.
You're not gonna look at him. He's not a scratch on Peter. Not a scratch on. And I love this line. He's like, "Here's how." I love that line. Here's how it's gonna happen. I pour a stream of webbing deep into your throat. You're all the way down into your lungs, filling them completely. The only way to remove it is surgically. Would be to cut out your lungs, which would not be possible due to you die from the lack of oxygen.
God, that's so fucking long. I would have
thing,
loved it if he just came in there, said nothing, and beat the shits out of him.
This is the thing, like with Straczynski, I like his writing, but he does so many fucking speeches. I mean, Babylon 5, like every 5 or 6 episodes, Sheridan was giving each.
That show was all speeches, just speeches from different characters.
I mean, he says it like, all I need is 3 seconds to do this. And he's just like, one, and you see the fear. I love this, the fear right there. Just, and the shock on all of them, because, you know, all the, Peter was just, or Spider-Man, he was always the wisecracking, you know.
Doxed.
What are you?
Oh man, you know it's the reverse of this scene?
What was that?
You know it's the reverse of this? The Boys.
What?
Where, have you seen that series or comic?
I read a bit of the comics and I watched a bit of the series, yeah.
Okay, well, probably spoilers.
That series is so fucked up.
Homelander, like, confronts the CEO, and it's the most chilling scene, because the CEO just does not care.
Oh yeah, that's the guy. He played in Breaking Bad. I've seen him in a bunch of other stuff. I can never remember his name. He played the villain in one of the Uncharted movies.
That really old guy?
Yeah.
That was a great scene, though. He just doesn't give a fuck.
He's like, you're under the mistaken impression that we need you. Telling the
What did he say once? He threatened his kids after that, though, and then he complied, didn't he?
I don't know.
Hold on, there's like a good breakdown of this.
Giancarlo Esposito is the.
Oh yeah, Giancarlo Esposito. He's great.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
It's super cold in the comic. He just tells Homelander he's bored. Kill him now.
I love that they got Jared Padalecki to play Soldier Boy. Yeah, I've watched this video. But if you think about it, The Boys is kind of the most realistic take on a world of superheroes.
I hate, honestly, The Boys, the series,
it's
changes so much about the comics.
Yeah, they got to. I mean, they changed.
Look what they did to Homelander. He used to be so stoic.
Well, he's a pestilent man-child with the power.
He is in the show.
I mean, I understand it. A lot of it has to be adapted to the screen. The same thing happened with, say, Watchmen, right? You lose a lot of the subtlety of the comic in the movie in that case. But
yeah, absolutely. God, that was a great comic. My buddy's got that in hardback.
It's one of the few I own, like an actual physical copy of. It's just a masterpiece.
What was
It
it?
is. They took the squid out.
It's like they changed Stormfront in this from the show, comics to the show completely, from what I understand. I mean, it was a guy in the comics, wasn't it?
I think so.
And now it's Homelander's Nazi girlfriend. See how that works?
I mean, they changed a lot about, what is it, Invincible, too.
Yeah, they did. Like, the entire girlfriend.
Completely.
She was way less of a bitch in the comics.
So sad.
And I'm really hoping they do a next season when he meets his brother. Because that's
endlessly nagging him. Mark,
I mean,
hello?
so like my problem with Amazon handling this, right, is where Invincible gets raped, they're just not going to be able to portray the women as the villain. They're not good at that. Mm-mm. And that's really bad, right? This is like Amber Heard levels of pretending that the abuser is the hero.
Oh, exactly.
And that's, gross for the same reasons it's gross pretending Harvey Weinstein is an upstanding member of the film community.
And I'm going to say,
they're going to make it seem like you liked it.
This is just Invincible is another show, another piece of film where J.K. Simmons just fucking shines. I love him.
He's so good.
He's funny.
I want pictures of Spider-Man.
I've seen him in
love
a
that they
lot
brought
of
him back
different
from No Way
movies.
Home. I love that they brought him back as J. Jonah Jameson.
Everything.
Yes, in No Way Home.
He's in Thank You for Smoking, even. Right? Like, he's the boss guy in that, right?
Yeah. He's great at it. He's a great actor. Really, he was Commissioner Gordon. And in Justice League, he was Commissioner Gordon.
Yep.
Oh, whoa.
I mean, he had that huge mustache. And I saw, like, when he was preparing for the role, he got buffed. I mean, he was fucking jacked. And he was only on screen for, like, 5 minutes.
Oh, you know what pisses me off about Venom, that new Venom movie? Eddie Brock.
Which one, Let There Be Carnage, or both?
Just in general, like those movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Eddie Brock is supposed to be jacked as shit. Now, the guy they got playing him is pretty jacked, but like Eddie
Tom
Brock,
Hardy, yeah.
Yeah, Eddie Brock is a freaking brick wall, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested in how they're gonna portray Venom in the Marvel movies. With that little bit of symbiote he left at the end of No Way Home.
Yeah, I think they might have been just leaving it open-ended there. I don't know.
Yeah, well, now that Marvel and was it Sony? They have this deal where they can use and it's the reason why we're getting fucking. Oh my god, we're gonna get fucking Wolverine, Deadpool in the same fucking movie. I cannot fucking wait. Oh my god, I shit my pants when they announced that. When Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool 3, Hugh Jackman is coming back as Wolverine.
Of course. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wonder how much money they bribed him with that. It's like, okay, Ryan Reynolds needs you in this movie. It's like, no. I don't want to do it, mate. He's going to make fun of my testicles.
Okay, Hugh Jackman is another great all-around actor. He can do anything, in my opinion. I mean, he's awesome. I love The Greatest Showman.
Oh, so, like, I love it. I saw it in theaters.
Yeah, I mean...
Whatever, I get people's complaints about it. They can feel that way.
Is that high school?
No, The Greatest Showman is the movie about P.T. Barnum starting the circus.
Oh.
It's a musical, okay. And it's got some of the best music ever. I love it.
I just watched a musical on Halloween, that Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes, that's a good
one.
That is a good one. I just saw that for the first time. I loved it.
Rick Moranis.
Feed me.
Feed me, Seymour.
Feed me, Seymour. I'm a mean green mother from outer space.
That is like
My
That's one of the
favorite
high
part
school
from that
theater staples. Like you can go to any high school theater and they will have done Little Shop of Horrors at least 5 or 6 times over the years.
Man. My
But-
favorite part from the trio of singers is when they're going like total eclipse of the sun.
And it's so
It just
cheesy.
threw me
Steve
off
Martin
so
is
much.
the dentist. Yeah, was it Steve Martin?
Yeah, it was Steve Martin, and then oh my gosh, Bill Murray as that patient. That's like, oh yeah.
Rick Moranis in his fucking prime. I mean, he was such a good actor. Ghostbusters, Honey, I Shrunk the Kid movies, Little Shop.
Also good.
All these kids. I mean, and it's so heartwarming when you learn why he left, quit acting, and
Wasn't
heartwarming
he in
and heartbreaking.
Beetlejuice?
You know who
No.
else really surprised me with how broad his career is? Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie.
Oh yes.
Dr. House.
He started in
He's-
comedy.
Yeah, A Bit of Ryan Laurie is an interesting show if you haven't seen it.
I was watching
Stephen Fry and
Oh.
Hugh Laurie had like
Yeah.
a sketch comedy show.
Yeah. I watched their reunion special just a few weeks ago because they hadn't really been on screen together for like 20 years. I mean, they're still best friends, but they were so funny together. I liked him. I liked
It's a
him
great
in
show.
Stuart Little. You remember Stuart
Okay.
Little?
Oh
He was
yeah,
the-
Little
he was
Isla
Mr.
Mo.
Little. That was one of my favorite. I think I was like in 6th or 7th grade when that movie came out.
You know,
No,
you
I was
said
in-
you said Doctor House, but what I heard was Doctor Who.
Don't get me started on Doctor Who.
Mm.
I hate Doctor Who now, and that hurts me to say.
Cultural
I love.
vandalism.
What was that?
Cultural vandalism.
Yes,
Cultural vandalism. Actually, yeah.
I mean that's the perfect way to put it. And
I definitely stole that from smarter people, probably do.
but still, that's a great way to put it. I've never thought of that.
Yeah, I enjoy that. That is a good saying. Should be tweeted.
But I think the only reason they're bringing David Tennant back is because they have seen how fucking down the drain it has gone under what's her name, Jodie Whittaker.
Because
Yeah.
nobody wanted a female fucking Doctor Who.
Well, we're getting a black gay Doctor Who now. Well,
So
but-
what's
but
really
I-
funny to me about all this, right, is Japan is succeeding at this.
yes.
There's anime and manga I like with female protagonists. There's anime and manga I like with female,
Oh, dude.
allies to the protagonist, enemies, all of it, right? They're doing it, the
Oh,
whole
hell yeah.
diversity thing. And America's just over here like base planting into the wall for reasons I don't understand.
And when people say tell Japan, oh, you need to change, and they're like, just fuck you.
We're like, here's one finger, then the other, right? Like we're already there. You're the one failing.
But I will say this about Doctor Who. I'm holding out a little hope because they're bringing back Russell T Davies as the head showrunner and writer.
Well, right. Eventually, the C-suite sobers up and realizes they like cocaine, and cocaine requires money, and they haven't made any lately. That's the beauty of capitalism at the end of the day.
I mean, I remember when the 50th special came on, premiered. I locked myself in my room, had like 2 big bowls of popcorn, a jug of sweet tea, like a foot high, and I would just sit there. I locked the door with a big sign that says "Do not disturb," and I just was glued to that fucking TV because I was waiting for David Tennant to come on, and I loved every moment of that special. I loved it. I mean, it was it was funny. It brought back a really, the Zygons were amazing fucking classic aliens that they brought back for the first time. Oh, it was so good. And then we got the old guy. I stopped watching about halfway through the first season of Peter Capaldi. I just couldn't.
Is that the guy that's ginger?
No, we haven't had a ginger doctor yet.
Oh yeah, that's
Actually,
right. He said that. No, he made the
That's
comment,
great.
"Still not ginger."
Yeah, when he became Matt Smith, he said,
Matt Smith
Still,
did that. Okay.
and I stomached through the Jodie Whittaker regeneration episode because it had a lot of classic companions come back. And there's a scene where the regeneration scene is she's like on a rocky beach watching the sunrise, and she transforms into David Tennant, and he just remember how David Tennant was like, new teeth, that's weird. She's like, he says, oh, I recognize these teeth, and then he realizes he's changed back, and people are like, we're confused. And then I pointed out, well, he can choose. It's already been established he can choose what face he picks. It's not random, like they've said in the past. I mean, the reason that he became Peter Capaldi is because David Tennant, it was Fires of Pompeii, the Roman family that David Tennant's doctor saves. The head of the family is Peter Capaldi. And then there's an episode, I can't remember, but it revolved around aliens and Vikings with Peter Capaldi, and he realizes, I know now why I chose this face. It was the face of someone I saved. And it really explains. And even in the 50th anniversary, when he meets the curator and Matt Smith's doctor realizes, holy shit, it's me. And he explains, you're gonna return to some of the old favorites. So it's not this lottery that we've been led to believe for 50 years. But I'm hoping Russell T. Davies fucking saves the show. Because it's gone downhill. When they got rid of Moffat, it fucking blew chunks.
I think
I
I
mean,
stopped after
storytelling is a dying art.
Which one?
Peter Capaldi.
Yeah. Well, he said during his announcement special, he's like, I'm not gonna be the boyfriend doctor that Americans are used to. Because we had Matt Smith and David Tennant for 10 years at that point, and he was right. American viewers did not stick around for him. Hell, they brought Captain Jack back for one of the Jodie Whittaker episodes, and I couldn't even.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Torchwood.
That was a good series.
Yeah. That was great crossovers that they did, actually.
Yeah, and I liked the Sarah Jane Adventures. They were
That was a miss for me.
well, it was
I
more
didn't like the setup.
children oriented, but I liked the crossovers that they had too with the doctors.
I mean, it was interesting when she showed up with her big computer.
And Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smith, I need you.
Yeah.
Opens up to a fucking fanfare that he's playing. It's not the music from the show. It's actually him playing the fanfare because she's like, "Oh, do you really have to do that every time?" But like one of my the Stolen Earth, I think it was called. It was
Yes, with the Cybermen, and they were Cybermen.
the Daleks, the one I'm talking about.
I thought it was the one where they upgrade all the humans, and they have to like call on all these people for help.
I think we're talking about two different ones. This one, it's Donna Noble's last episode. This one where like they land on Earth, all of a sudden everything jerks, and he opens the door. Earth is gone, been stolen, and it has Davros, the guy who created the.
Oh, this is the one where they hide Earth just 1 second out of sync, right?
No. I don't remember that one either. This one, Davros, the guy who created the Daleks, stole Earth along with other planets to create this like reality-ending cosmic engine.
Jesus.
And Doctor has all his like Rose comes back in this episode. It's got Rose, Mickey, Martha, Donna, uh, Jackie, all the companions. Even Captain Jack.
Yeah, and then it had what's her face in her computer.
Yes, and
And then the prime
Sarah
minister
Jane.
was helping them through the episode.
Yeah, the one he deposed is in the Christmas Invasion.
Yes. So yeah, I remember the episode. I don't know. I bleed Doctor Who through with itself like really, really hard.
I like Wilford,
Wilfred.
Donna's grandfather.
Oh yeah, he's cool. He's cool. He always
He's
looks
the
up at the
reason
stars for him.
that Doctor died.
Yeah. He gave his life for him. One person.
And you realize that beating that the master hears, that da 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 da, that's his fucking heartbeat.
Yeah.
That's the heartbeat of a Time Lord.
Yeah, because it's double. It's two hearts. But it's boom, 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 boom.
And one of my favorite moments is when the Master's Prime Minister. It's one of the last Martha episodes, and he creates these perception devices. The Doctor creates these perception devices that it makes people unable to focus on you. And he describes it to Martha and Captain Jack as if you really fancied somebody, but they wouldn't notice you. And the look Martha gives Captain Jack, and he's like, "Oh, you too," because both of them are in love with the Doctor, and he doesn't. It's like a human being.
That's right. I forgot. Captain Jack is gay for the Doctor.
Captain Jack is what they call omnisexual on the show.
What is omnisexual?
Omnisexual, by my definition, is you must have been with all things and will be with all things.
That is Captain Jack, exactly.
Have you fucked the sidewalk? Like, is that where this is going?
That is
Captain
all
Jack
things.
will fuck it.
Okay.
So it's like there's an episode where
I feel violated.
Captain Jack he'd hit on you and you most likely would fall in love with him. The episode where Captain Jack meets Martha, he introduces himself. He's like, "Hi, Captain Jack," and the Doctor just looks and says, "Stop it." And Jack just like, "I'm just introducing myself," and he's like, "And that's enough of you." Like,
I see your game introducing yourself, you slick son of a bitch.
And his fucking character, where his character ends up, we find out who his character actually becomes. He's the fucking face of Bo.
Yeah, he is.
That was like a jaw-dropping moment when that little piece of trivia dropped at the end of the episode. Just a throwaway line. "Oh, they used to call me the face of Bo. I was a cover boy." It's like, holy shit. And it explains how that creature lived so long and how he knew everything that was going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what was the name of that last human that was like, moisturize me, darling?
Cassandra. And all she was like a pulled thing of skin with a face. And she was the last human.
She looked like a deer hide getting stretched.
Exactly. That was like
I don't want to know.
With a face.
That was the second episode of Christopher Eccleston's run. They introduced her.
Yeah.
That's going way far back. That's going like what, 05?
Was that the leather jacket guy?
Yes, he was the first modern Doctor we got.
I liked him a lot, actually.
He hated doing the show, so that's why we only got one season of him.
I enjoyed him a lot, though. He was cool. And then, oh man, when he I don't know if that was him or not, but when they find the devil, Like the actual devil?
That's David Tennant.
Okay. That was a cool ass episode though. I was like, holy shit, is that where this is going?
That was, I think, his third or fourth episode.
Yeah, that was wild shit.
It was called The Beast Below.
No, that's a different one. That's the one where they're like perpetually in traffic.
Okay. I remember that one.
That sounds terrible.
It is. It's a whole city and it's like full of smog and shit, so you can't leave your vehicle. And they don't know it, but all the way down is this like beast that's feeding off of the carbon in the air and like it's getting
Satan
people
Pit.
too.
It's called the Satan Pit.
Oh, the Satan Pit. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. It's a two-parter. It was the Impossible Planet because him and Rose arrive on a planet orbiting a fucking black hole.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of the what are those guys?
Torchwood.
No, the guys with the little orbs in their hands that they talk through. The yes, the were there. And what?
OOD.
Ood, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Ood were there, and they were like all mind controlled and shit, and had red eyes.
I mean, the doctor's like, and the monster was actually the source of like the myth of the devil. He was that old.
What was that phrase that kept popping up everywhere? Like, I think it was a David Tennant episode, but he looks around and it's just
Bad Wolf.
Bad Wolf, yes, that one. That was a cool episode.
That was because Rose, when at the end of Christopher Eccleston's run, she looks into the heart of the TARDIS, the time vortex, and she becomes this omnipotent universal being called the Bad Wolf, and she sends it through time. She's the reason why Captain Jack is the way he is, because she brings him back to life after he was killed by Daleks. And all of a sudden, he can't die. He ages slowly, but he can't die.
That turned out being really bad for Rose, though. Wasn't she lost for like a really long time because of that?
No, she almost burned up. She almost was destroyed, but the doctor saved her during the Cybermen when Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, which was her final episodes. She gets trapped on a parallel world.
Okay.
And it's not
another really good episode is where the Daleks and the Cybermen meet each other, and
yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
That's the one.
Army of Ghosts and Doomsday.
Okay. Yeah, that's a brilliant episode where they all converge on that big mansion.
It's a skyscraper.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's Torchwood, and Torchwood found this rift, and they built skyscraper to it, and the rift is a dimensional breakdown between parallel Earths, and they find this orb that had busted through and caused the rift, and the orb is carrying Daleks, and on the parallel Earth, it's being invaded by Cybermen, and the Cybermen invade through, and the Daleks. It's a war between Daleks and Cybermen.
Yeah. Okay, I do remember that.
War,
yeah.
it's called.
Jess, we're just talking about like whatever. It's just kind of a free flow conversation. It kind of got to Doctor Who here now.
But that was the writing back then. I mean, with David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston, we had great episodic writing because that was what Russell T Davies was really good at.
Intriguing, actually, and it looped around often.
And when we got to and he introduced a lot of amazing monsters. Like he was the one that gave us the Weeping Angels.
Oh, those things were freaky.
Oh God, it's like I couldn't look at a statue for a while after the.
All right, Jess. Now hear this. She wants me to talk nerdy to her. All right, so these Weeping Angel things, they're just these mannequins.
They're statues.
Oh, okay, statues. You're right. Mannequins are a different thing. So
Mannequins were in episode 1, the very early, like living plastic monsters.
yeah, I remember those things. Those were freaky too. But okay, so I was getting them confused. So okay, the weeping angels are these statues that look pretty unassuming. I guess they're a little creepy looking, but
They look just like ordinary like statues of angels you'd see on like old churches
yeah,
or
exactly.
cemeteries, maybe.
So when you're looking at them, they do nothing.
They
But when you
cannot
turn
move.
away, they move closer to you and closer and closer until,
They
they
snatch
snatch
you up.
you. Yep.
They snatch you and put you in a different time period and feed off that temporal energy, if I remember right. Because
Oh yeah,
that's how we
you're
lost.
you're gone forever.
Well, no, not. That's how we lost Amy and Rory. Remember,
Yeah, didn't they never come back?
they were sent to 1950s New York because
Oh shit. Okay, you're right.
they had
Yeah,
a full
and then
life.
they had to go get them. Hey, what's up, Debbie? Good to
Hey,
see you.
Debbie. They had a full life because one of my favorite bits of Doctor Who, it was storyboarded but never filmed. There's a scene at the end of Amy that episode. Let me find it.
So it's non-canon?
No, well, I don't. Yeah, I don't. They decided not to do it, but it has Rory's father. It's about maybe a week or two after they left with the Doctor from his point of view. And he's just hanging out at their house, watering the plants. And all of a sudden, he gets a knock on a door, and it's this guy in a suit and tie and he hands him a note, and it has Rory's handwriting on it. He opens it up and reads it, and it explains. It's a voiceover. Author Darville's doing a voiceover, and it explains that, hey, Dad, we're not coming back. We're stuck in time in this time, and he explains, we've had a good life. We've got a house in New York, upstate New York. We're living, and he's in the last line. He says, "And this man delivering the letter, be nice to him. He's your grandson." And he says, "I know having a grandson just about as old as you is weird, but let me see." What? It was the end. Angels Take Manhattan, wasn't it?
I could not say. I'm not really very good
Yes,
with the
yes.
episode names, but The Beast Below
But
was a great epised. So I
it was
remember
just
that one.
it was a sweet ending for Brian that I wish they would have done. It allowed him, it showed him, like, even with Amy and Rory gone, he wasn't going to be alone. And I just wish they would have gone beyond the storyboarding part of it.
Didn't they bring Rory back for that one last episode? Like
Not
he,
that I
he
know.
goes. Okay, then there was an episode that I saw before that point where Rory, I think it was Rory, where he has to go through time and he has to not get seen by himself. But he gets seen by himself and captured by himself.
I don't remember that one. I remember him as the last Centurion, where he fucking, for like 2,000 years, he's guarding that cube that has Amy alive in it. And he's like,
Oh, I'm thinking of two different people then.
Maybe, but
Doctor Who gets me so confused.
wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Yes, that. Oh, sounds good.
It was just one of those amazing shows that they fucking ruined. I'm not like a lot of YouTubers who do pop culture stuff. I give stuff a chance. I don't hate watch just because you've seen some YouTubers that will just watch stuff and hate it no matter what. Like to them, Marvel and Disney can do no right. Like, have you
I've
seen
seen a
what?
couple of them that say like I was pleasantly surprised with such and such, and I'm like, okay, who bought you out?
I saw one this afternoon. Have you seen that new Marvel? It's an hour special called Werewolf by Night.
Mm-mm.
You need to watch it. It's good. I liked it. It's pretty decent, and it's in the vein of those of kind of those Universal monsters, the Wolfman kind of
Oh
thing.
yeah, love them.
It
In fact, Boris Karloff. It was
yeah, that
Frankenstein.
kind of vein. It's filmed in black and white.
Ooh.
Um, and it was really good, I thought. But of course, some of these YouTubers that I follow absolutely hated it. I
Hmm.
mean, I watched. Have you watched Tales of the Jedi yet?
Is that the anime?
No, it's in the vein of like Clone Wars style. It's
Okay.
the newest bit of Star Wars series that they have. It tells different stories from the Clone Wars era.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I love that era. That's one of my favorites. I
yeah,
wish you could see what happens like after somebody like General Grievous comes through with his army, and there's nobody to protect you.
this one is set. There are some episodes like it shows you how Dooku fell to the dark side.
Ah, okay, okay.
So it's a
Well,
little before.
he kind of just saw, didn't he, that the Jedi were kind of not going the
Well,
right direction, and
he
then
saw
he
corruption
saw the
within the
plot
Republic, and then
that the other guy had.
he really, it hit him hard when Qui Gon died. He was Qui Gon's master,
Yeah.
and then we really saw his fall when he learns that Qui Gon was killed.
So there's a point where he tells Obi-Wan the exact full truth about what's going on, and
Yes,
Obi-Wan just doesn't believe him.
yes.
Wait,
I
who does? Sorry, I just got
Count
back.
Dooku.
Dooku. Yeah,
Yeah, Dooku has Obi-Wan in episode 2, and he's like just hanging there in these.
yeah. He's got
It's
him in
like that
prison.
Mr. Incredible thing that he gets in. Um, he's hanging there, and he goes,
What if I were to tell you that there is a Sith Lord controlling the Senate and all that, blah, 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 blah.
It's not bad. It's not a bad Christopher Lee.
"Thanks, thanks," and he goes,
I don't believe you.
Well, he's like the Jedi would know about that. My God, the Jedi.
"Yeah,
would
yeah, that's what he said. The Jedi would know."
Don't
The
be
Jedi
so
fucked up
sure.
so fucking much
That clearly
in the
worked
later
out.
years of the Republic. I mean, the idea when they fucking went from from having conclaves all over the galaxy like they did in the old Republic era to just a single fucking Coruscant temple, they just basically cut themselves off from the fucking universe, basically.
You know who got shafted in Palpatine's whole plan?
Who's that?
The Separatist people.
Yes, and we saw that in Bad Batch. We saw that really a lot in Bad Batch.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
Bad Batch happens. It starts right there at Order 66.
Yep, yep. Beautiful start, and oh my gosh, the animation, they really broke it out in
Yeah.
that first whole cinematic.
I mean, I loved Rebels. Rebels, Bad Batch, that era was we were before Rebels. We were starving for like information about that era. You know,
Oh yeah.
the rise of the Republic to the Battle of Endor. Battle of Yavin 5, 4.
Well, the
Yavin
last
4.
thing we kind of see with Rebels is they sent Grand Moff
Tarkin, yeah. You were
no,
right.
not Tarkin.
Thrawn.
Thrawn. Grand Admiral Thrawn. That's his
Yeah.
name. They sent him off into space. They shot him out there.
Ezra. Yeah, Ezra went with him.
Yeah, yep. And
Well, the
but
last
Ezra
scene is
was reported to be in the battle of the Death Star. The first
was he?
battle. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know about that because the last scene is with Sabine kind of grown up, and I think we're going to see this more in the Ahsoka series because remember when she made her first appearance in the Mandalorian, and she's fighting that corrupt ex Imperial mayor
Yeah.
who has the Beskar spear. She says now tell when she beats her she says tell me where your master is, tell me where Admiral Thrawn is. So in the end of Rebels, after the Battle of Endor, um, she's like okay, and you get the feeling that her and Ahsoka are going off to look for Ezra because I would think Ezra he's going to probably play an important role as an adult when he in these new and I'd love to see who they get him to play live action too.
And Rebels took me a second to get into, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It smacks so hard.
And the thing I liked about Bad Batch is the Padawan that runs off from the
Yeah, that was Kanan.
That was Kanan, yeah. And you see him in an episode of there's an episode of Tales of the Jedi that has Ahsoka training in the temple, and you see a Padawan and his master sitting watching in the bleachers. It's Kanan and his master, Caleb. It was Caleb back then, I think. I think that was his name.
Yo, Quinlan Voss is alive apparently in the Disney canon.
Oh God, sometimes they go too far.
I love Quinlan Voss. You know, he was on Tatooine in episode 1 when they were walking around. He was just sitting there. Another Jedi. We didn't even know.
Oh, you're right. I just looked it up and it just popped up a picture. Yeah. I will tell you what, though. One of the worst pieces of Disney shit I've seen yet, and this is going to hurt me to say because I had really high hopes for it, was fucking Kenobi.
Yeah, that was awful.
I mean, when you have a character with what was her name? Third Sister? Was that Third Sister? Was their name?
I don't remember. I've seen too many sisters. I like the 9th sister, the 7th sister, and the 2nd sister.
I'm looking it up. I think, yeah, it was Third Sister. Her fucking storyline was so predictable. I had her figured out by the 2nd episode, and I'm an idiot.
Yeah, it was like really dumb.
It's like I was watching
really dumb moments too, like when Leia is getting away from every fucking adult.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that we are seeing more of Leia's story from when she was young because we knew Luke's pretty much, and I think it was really about time we focused on Leia. And I thought the actress who played her was decent, and I did like that they got the parents to come back. The actress who played,
Bail Organa,
and the mother. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I don't know Bail Organa's wife's name. I don't care.
They got them to come back. Oh no, they didn't. It was different actress, different actress. But I thought it was it was a little cool, and I loved seeing Liam Neeson come back.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. That was pretty dope for the Obi-Wan shit. Mike, what did you think of Obi-Wan, dog?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't watch it?
Nope, I haven't watched any Star Wars since episode, what was it, 8?
The only reason I watched Obi-Wan was because they actually, got both actors for Obi-Wan and Anakin to come back.
Hayden Christensen, yeah.
Yeah, so I had to go see it, and they put him in the suit, and it looked really good and all that. It was just terrible otherwise.
I did think that was a really decent battle between them at the end.
I hated it.
I liked it. I mean, it showed Obi-Wan finally letting loose, finally reconnecting with the Force, and finally.
Yeah, but he never should have lost it. Is my deal.
Well,
Like,
no. That
why do we
happens
need
a
all
lot
these
with Jedi.
people? Why do we need all these people in these sequel series to have to go through a whole nother character arc when they just did that?
Because shit happens, and it's what 10 years later. Because I saw someone describe it. He said the Force is like a muscle that he hasn't used in years, and that's why it took him so. It was so hard for him to stop Leia from falling, because it was the first time he used the Force in years, and then he finally got back. Because we've seen Jedi in other, like in the Old Republic era, like in KOTOR 2, the Exile. She
How many
cut
years are
herself
supposed to have passed?
10.
10 years. Leia wasn't 10 years old. Get out of here.
Leia, even at the last scene where he says goodbye to Leia, he says you're 10 years old now, but you're not always going to be. Yeah, they're 10.
You gotta be kidding me.
The actress who played Princess Leia, I thought did an okay job. I hated third sister. I hated her. You know,
It was just altogether pretty much unlikable.
but Andor, I tried to watch Andor. I fucking fell asleep. So boring. But
I'm just gonna wait for Overlord DVD like Mike does.
I just Disney is just, and we're supposed to get like before the year's out. I think they're doing another Disney Star Wars series.
They're doing a game. The same people that made Until Dawn are doing a Star Wars game. That could be fucking cool. There's a lot of Star Wars games coming out, actually. Let me look here. And there's also that Harry Potter game coming out on the PS4 or PS5.
Yeah, I've seen that, and it looks really, really good.
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting. I'd like to pick my own house, go do what I want. But I hope you get sorted. Like, I don't want you to be able to pick your own house.
I liked, the only thing I hated was how they recasted Johnny Depp, but I like the Fantastic Beasts movies. I like seeing other countries besides fucking England in their wizarding societies.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was kind of like how what's those movies with the Kingsman? How the Kingsman does different countries.
Kingsman, those movies they would start out good, and then they just went batshit fucking crazy by the end of the movies. Like, okay, at the last scene, they're all just we're just gonna lounge around. You just fucking had every world leader's head explode. And you expect me to believe that there's not going to be a fucking problem? Or how a fucking president would sacrifice millions because, I'm the anti-drug president. Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, so one of the biggest ones coming out for the Star Wars games is Jedi Survivor, which is the sequel for Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, that Souls kind of like game, mixed with that game was a mix of a lot of things. Really well done. Knights of the Old Republic remake is coming out.
God, don't. That's my absolute favorite game of all time.
Let's see. Mobile game nobody cares
KOTOR
about.
on Steam. It was well worth it. Do it.
What was that?
I played Knights of the Old Republic on the Steam remake. Do it. It's worth it.
Oh, bet. Okay. Might have to try that.
I mean, that was one of the...
Ubisoft is making a Star Wars game. Skydance New Media is making a Star Wars project.
We're drowning in Star Wars stuff. I mean, what made Star Wars... One of the things that made Star Wars special, it was an event. When something came out, it was an event. Because it happened... I mean, with the prequel trilogies, it was like every 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, remember like when we would get games is when movies would come out.
I remember.
Episode 2. Do you know how many fucking games were tied to episode 2?
Oh yeah,
I'll tell you what. The first
Bounty
Star Wars
Hunter, where you
Battlefront for
played
sure.
Django.
Yep. Bounty Hunter, the Star Wars,
Republic
the actual
Commando.
Clone Wars games. Yep, Republic Commando.
That was a good one. That was underrated. That deserved a sequel.
Beautiful game.
I
Oh,
loved
it
it.
deserves 5 sequels. I tell you what. I would play the shit out of that game franchise like I do Far Cry.
It really did well on the early squad mechanics where you could order your squad around.
Yeah, that was really cool shit.
That was
Get
in
'em
the
to blow
early
up stuff.
stages, but it really did a good job on that.
And it was hard. It was a hard game.
Yes. I mean,
Oh, buddy.
and the characters, they were individuals. You know, they weren't just faceless drones like we saw in the movies. And then they took that idea and really, in the Clone Wars, they really expanded the individuality of the clones.
Yeah, it was a main focus, and I really loved the clone-related episodes. Like,
Yeah.
the one where that Jedi, one of the Jedi generals, is sending clones to die.
Yeah.
And making them kill each other.
Yeah, it turns out he's actually fallen to the dark side.
Yeah, and he's working with the Separatists. And they go and arrest him. That was one of the greatest episodes of the entire series.
Oh, what was his name?
Let me look up all the games that came out with episode 2.
Pong Krell was his name. He was
Pong Krell.
He was one of those four-armed aliens. You know, like in episode 2, his Obi-Wan's friend Dex, who owns the diner.
Yep.
He was of the same species, and he has those 2 double-bladed lightsabers. They're huge lightsabers too, because he's so fucking big.
Mm-hmm. And he's scary with those things. Holy shit! Like I heard somewhere that most Jedi do not use those double-sided lightsabers because there's too much risk of hurting yourself with the fighting style you have to use. And that guy whips out 2 of them.
Well, it wasn't necessarily that they were dangerous. It was they were so aggressive. You fought with the fighting style you had to use them was so aggressive. It was kind of frowned upon. It's like Mace Windu. He used a lightsaber form that
Aikido.
Really it was aggressive. It almost had to be touching the dark side to use his style, his lightsaber fighting style.
Hey, Debbie says, I saw the first Star Wars movie in theaters when it was released in 1977. The movie will always hold a special place in my heart because it was the last movie we saw with my mom. She passed away a few months later. Oh, that's a sweet story. I'm sorry to hear about that.
I remember my dad took me to see episode 2. And I remember specifically during the scene where Obi-Wan's chasing Jango and Boba Fett through the asteroid field.
Yeah.
I remember looking at my dad, and it was the first time I really noticed him aging. But he's still with me. But it was one of those movies he took me to see. He took me to see the re-releases of the original trilogy.
Oh wow!
He took me to see the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. He was good at taking me to movies and stuff.
I got to see episode 3, Front Row. That was beautiful. It blew my mind. I got to see it. My brothers took me, and it was just such an experience. It's still probably my favorite Star Wars movie.
It's a toss-up between 2 and 3 for me.
2 is really good. You get Jango Fett, and that is just amazing. I love
They
him.
did him dirty like they did Boba. They did him dirty like they did Boba in Return of the Jedi.
Hey, you know what? He got out of that thing like 3 times in comic canon. So
That's true. And then they fucked him up in the Book of Boba Fett.
they did. They made the most ruthless bounty hunter in the universe I don't know, a dude that sits around bonfires and sings "Kumbaya" with the natives.
Yeah. The best episodes of
Like a panther.
Book of Boba Fett was when Mando was on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's because they were from season 3 of Mando.
Yeah, I mean, oh my god! And he took one of my least favorite starships, the Nubian Starfighter, the N1 Starfighter.
N1. How did you not like that thing? That
I
thing's
didn't
badass.
like it. I thought it was ugly.
What? I had a toy of that thing. It was such a cool ship.
I had the Lego set.
Okay.
It lasted about a week before I took it apart and built something of my own. But he turns it into this badass rat rod starship. That's what it was like one of those old rat rods from the 40s and 50s. Where,
yeah, all chromed out.
It's back then. Soldiers would come home and they would take like different parts from different cars and put them together and create these just Frankenstein kind of vehicles, and that's exactly with the air filter and the engine top, or the top of the engine just sticking out of the hood.
Oh yeah, I like how they made it sound like a motor.
And I love it. The final scene where Grogu's in the little AirPod, you hear no. He's just tapping with his little ball on the glass. He said, no. He's like, fine. And then he pushes the afterburner, and Grogu's just, yay!
Yep.
And one thing I've liked how they've done Luke in the Mandalorian series. I think
that was pretty good. Yeah, that was a little tiny taste of Grandmaster Luke.
But it's sad. But the way, like when Mando arrives on the Jedi planet, and you see the robots building it, we see what happened. That's straight out of Episode 7.
What's that?
The little hut thing, where when Luke tells the story of how he almost kills Ben.
Oh yeah, that was the same hut.
Yeah, it was the same. It was the beginnings of his Jedi temple, and we kind of see what happens at the end already. But I wish they'd bring in Mara Jade.
Oh hell yeah, Mara Jade, and then Jaden Solo.
I mean, I wish they could do it with some kind of subtlety. I just don't have faith in Disney.
Neither do I.
Well, what they can do, they have a loophole out of this with something they did in Rebels. They can just call this an alternate universe and fuck it.
Maybe. As long as they don't get any of the writers from She-Hulk.
I mean, they need to have a whole new writing team in general.
I mean, just the whole She-Hulk writing team should be fired.
Yeah, fire him. Elon Musk him.
I mean,
can Elon Musk buy Disney now?
I don't know about that. See you, Debbie.
Hey, you have a good one, Debbie.
I remember
Thanks for stopping by.
I did a few reviews of the early episodes of She-Hulk. I know we're getting off on different topics. We can't seem to stay on one topic for long. But that whole thing when Bruce is trying to teach her how to relax and breathe and control her fucking transformation, he stay calm, basically. And she says along the lines like, oh, I'm calm. I have to be calm. I work with men every day who I'm infinitely more I'm better than, or and if I say anything, I'll get catcalled or even killed. And Bruce is looking at her like, bitch, please. Because this is a man, this is fucking Bruce Banner, the Hulk, the man who saved the fucking universe.
This is the worst Hulk. They made him the science Hulk or whatever the hell it is.
Smart Hulk.
Well, even to put a pin in that for just 1 second, they make her look so weak in that scene, right? She's not able to handle basic human interactions at a functional level. And
Exactly.
is like griping about it while trying to learn how to be a superhero. It's just like, that's not what the genre is about. That's not why we're here.
And that's supposed to be your heroine. You know, she used to be a seductress.
Yes, that's the thing. When you have Jennifer, who's still that shy.
Can we go back to Ripley? Can we go back to Sarah Connor? Like, it was better then.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, Sarah Connor, Cara Dune.
Scary.
Holy shit, Cara Dune. Gina Carano is Cara Dune. You know,
Yeah,
you
she
had
was
all
pretty
these
decent,
strong
damn
women.
it.
And can I just say, Gina Carano, hubba. I'm just gonna say it. She's gorgeous. Just saying.
Give me a call, we'll go bowling.
But then you got to realize, you know, this man, he was abused by his father as a child, watched his father kill his mother. He would run over to this is in the comics. He would run to Jennifer's house to escape his drunk father. She knew all this. And then throws that in his face. One, he lost his fucking girlfriend, Betty Ross, which they need to bring Betty Ross back into the Marvel movies. What was her name? Played it in Edward Norton's. She was. What was her name?
The black-haired chick?
Yes. Aerosmith guy's daughter.
Isn't it Betsy Ross?
Yes, but I can't remember the actress's name. She needs to come back and play Betty Ross again. But he loses her. Well, no, he has to save his best friend from getting blasted at a fucking gamma irradiated nuke. Because that's why he gets caught in the blast. Is because what's his name? He comes A-bomb. Rick something other is his name. Rick Jones is a kid who gets caught in the testing range, and that's why Bruce covers him during the explosion, and he gets irradiated that way. Then gets hunted by his girlfriend's father,
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, no, not Jennifer Connelly, not that Betty Ross.
Wow.
Liv Tyler.
Sam Elliott plays
Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler. I don't think I know her.
She was Arwen in Lord of the Rings. Arwen.
Oh. Arwen or Eowyn?
Arwen. Yeah, she's gorgeous. She's a great actress. Her dad is what's her
Aerosmith guy?
Steven Tyler. That's right. But and then he spends years on the run from his fucking girlfriend's dad, who becomes the fucking Secretary of State. Finally gets a place with the Avengers. Finds a woman with Black Widow who doesn't mind the Hulk. Loses her. Loses his left arm for 5 years, just to have her throw all that shit in his face. Like, oh, I get catcalled, and if I say anything, they'll kill me. It's like when she wakes up in his lab, she's like, he says, "Oh, your cells, your cells process gamma radiation differently. I was able to use it to fix my arm." She's like, "Oh, so I'm better than you." That was her exact words. "I'm better than you." He's like, "No, just different." She's like, but in a better way.
Yeah,
Bitch.
who likes that shit? Like,
That's
who
my
likes
complaint
that
about this. This is weak,
people,
fragile women, right? Like
Yeah,
she's
they're-
super ego fragile to be going after like, oh, I'm better just because like at one thing you're competent. I don't.
This is like a character insert of how the writers want to be.
No one would respect a man who acted that way. Like, just imagine that was a scene between two men.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm better
No-
than you. You'd be
no,
like, okay, guy,
Bruce
like,
would not
chill
have
out.
held back. Bruce would not have held back if it was a man. What are you doing? Bruce
Into
would
a
not have
milkshake.
held. Bruce would not have held back if it was a man. Bruce would have He would have done what he did to the Hulk in the Avengers movie. Just bam, sucker punched his ass. You know. And then at the end, for her to win, she literally had to rewrite reality.
Yeah, that was dumb. Did she ever have that power before? By the way, that was
Well,
interesting.
no, it wasn't a power. It was just the way the writers wanted to end it. Mike,
They just
Mike,
want out. Yeah.
But it was just they turned the Abomination once again into a fucking from a badass special ops super soldier to this little bitch.
Did they have the same guy play him?
Yeah, they got the same guy to play him, which was
I love that guy. What's his name? Tim something, I think. Or he played in Lie to Me.
Tim Roth.
Tim Roth, yeah. Love that guy. Great actor. If you ever watch Lie to Me, you'll fall in love with that actor. He's amazing.
Actually, the only movies I remember seeing him in, I think, is the Hulk and She-Hulk.
He's in Pulp Fiction. He's in.
That's right. Okay.
He's in this Lie to Me show that I'm talking about. He's in
Reservoir Dogs. He was in.
Yeah, Reservoir Dogs.
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, he was in The Hateful Eight.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh my god, you got to see The Hateful Eight. Holy shit!
In the
dude.
eight.
What's up?
Was that?
Was Hateful Eight the Tarantino movie?
Yeah, with all the guys that get stuck in
Yeah.
the blizzard. In the
Yeah, that was real good. How have you not seen that?
Right? Holy fuck, that's okay. Nerd, we gotta watch that sometime soon. Would you be down? It's a long movie, but it's good.
I'm not. I don't really like modern fucking westerns.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
I remember the only movie I ever watched in theater thinking I'd rather be at home now was that remake with Christian Bale of 3:10 to Yuma.
I thought you just got done talking about giving shit chances. Give it a chance.
I didn't say I wouldn't watch it. I just said I'm not a fan of modern fucking westerns.
All right, we'll call it a date.
Let's not.
Okay, we'll go with something a little bit less homosexual.
Gay.
But it is almost 10 o'clock, and I should probably get some food in my belly.
Yeah, we've been going about an hour and a half.
Yeah, we did all right. I think that was kind of fun.
Yeah. So we're gonna call it, huh?
Yeah, I think we'll call it here. And then y'all want to meet up on Discord later, or you doing other shit?
Let's do it.
Can.
All right, cool beans. Okay,
So-
well, thank you so much for joining me, guys. This was a good time. We might have to do this again soon.
Yeah,
Have a
man.
good one.
Yeah, peace out.